What's up, everyone? Hey. This is a video. This is my top 50 favorite comic books. Well, a little more than 50. I went above and beyond, I guess. The reason you're so close is I'm trying to make sure this webcam thing works, because sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Hopefully my test video that I put out will hopefully make sure it works, and then I'll put this out, or I'm going to have to redo this. I don't know. But I was tagged by gimpy204. Yeah, bastard. I forget who started it. I really don't know. You're supposed to show your 50 favorite comics, I guess, of all time, whether it's stories or cover or whatever makes them your favorite. Me, like I said, I went above and beyond. I started pulling out so many Spider-Mans because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. So I have like over 50 just Spider-Man. I'm like, oh crap. I probably could have pulled out a lot more that were my favorites. Some of them are just because of covers, some of them are because the storyline is really good, which I would tell you. But then I started going through my other books, I'm like, oh, these are really good too, these are my favorites too. So what I'm going to do is, I was thinking I was going to make two different things, like one, my 50 favorite Spider-Man comics, because that thing would just, take forever, and then the leftover, books. So, yeah. Let's do it that way. We'll do 50 favorite Spider-Man books, but I'm gonna throw in well, that's all my Spider-Man books. I can't really throw anything in. I was gonna throw DC in there too, just do DC and Spider-Man together, because there's not many DC ones that I have. But there's so many Spider-Man, so I think I'm gonna leave the DC with my other stuff like that, because I kind of just, Alrighty then. Hopefully this works, like I said. So I'm gonna leave. I had this all sorted originally, but now I'm going to have to redo it, because I'm crazy like that. This is in no particular order. It's just in general. I guess for Spider-Man, so it's not like it's 50 to 1. It's just, however you want to go. I mean, if you want to, the first one I show, if you want to count that as number 1, so be it. If you want to count it as number 50, so be it. But let me show you some of them. Alright. Black Cat, Variant Edition, number 1, 9.0 graded. Was it, yeah, J. Scott Campbell. I was like, I know that looked familiar. I love that stuff, love his work. But, I really love the Black Cat, so that's one of the main reasons I got that, is because I just love the Black Cat. Bear with me, like I said, they're kind of in the wrong spot now, but hey, to each their own. That down there. Alrighty. Alright, Spider-Man number 1. Never been opened. Love that cover. It's still one of my favorite covers to this day. McFarlane did an awesome job at Spider-Man. Here's the silver edition. Yeah, silver edition. And I have it signed by McFarlane. Very, very cool. And, of course, like I said, I'm sick. So I have a 9.8 CGC version. Very cool. I do have another one that's the standard one that's open that I read. So there's that. Let's see, I got Amazing Spider-Man 238 with the tattoos, graded. First Hobgoblin. I love the Green Goblin. I think he's still my favorite villain of all time. But the Hobgoblin, because I couldn't own the first Green Goblin, this is a nice second, like a nice close. Like, oh, at least I got one of the goblins. But that's really cool. Alrighty. Like I said, no real order to this. It's no rhyme or reason. This I always just love the costume, I guess, and then the book was actually pretty cool itself. But this was supposed to, back in the day, felt like it was going to change the world. Like this was going to be the next $1 million book. But hey, Spider-Man 2009 number 1, which I do have to upgrade down the line because mine is pretty banged up. Here's another one that everyone thought was going to change the world, but I love it anyway. Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. Let's see. Actually, yeah, let's do this one. This probably would be close to my number 1 if I was going down the line, but like I said, no real order. But this is just very, very special to me for one particular reason, which I'm going to show you. This is Stan Lee Meets the Amazing Spider-Man number 1, and I have it signed by Stan Lee. It was amazing. I never thought I'd ever get a chance to meet him. Um, and I was blown away. I was just like, oh my god, it's when you meet him for the first time. I mean, a lot of people, I meet him, I met him 5, 6 times, but when you meet him for the first time and you're a huge comic book fan, it's mind blowing. You're just like, that was me. I mean, I was just kind of like, I couldn't even. They told you not really to talk to him because he couldn't hear you anyway, so I guess that's kind of a thing. But I almost couldn't say anything anyway. I was like, but that was an amazing experience. It really was. Um, let's see. Moving on. Here's some Spectacular Spider-Man. I love this. It was a good story. I just love the cover, of course. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 87. Just the look in the Black Cat's face when Spider-Man reveals who he is. Just, she's like, oh my god, you're average. This is something you might want to look out for. I heard they're trying to put these characters into a TV show, and you know how that goes. Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man, number 64. It's the first Cloak and Dagger. I actually like Cloak and Dagger. I thought they were pretty cool. These are some of the books that I just never thought I would own. I'm just like, oh my god, you know. I kind of went after like the low-key characters a long time ago, and like this is the one I was like, oh, it's gonna just keep going up and up because it's old. It's but it never really went too high up, so I got it for a pretty decent price. I think it was like $2. This is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3, the variant edition number 1. Why did I get it? Of course, the Black Cat. Why Deadpool's in there, I have no idea, but Black Cat is amazing. So there's that. This is Amazing Spider-Man Annual. It was number 22, the first appearance of Speedball. I love Speedball, and I don't know why, I just think he's cool. And I found this a long time ago in my comic book store when I was living in New York that I used to go religiously to, that I started working in. When I found this, I was like, oh my god, I think I got it for like $5, which was, back then, kind of expensive, but then it's like, alright, well, I mean, now you could probably get it really cheap. This was just cool. Amazing Spider-Man number 19, Annual. Mary Jane showing the Spider-Man stuff underneath. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 700, the variant edition, with the Doc Ock, the 300 kind of cover swap. Love that cover swap stuff. Just always makes me happy. I don't know why. And Amazing Spider-Man number 700, the regular one. I just think that cover is amazing, and the story was really cool. And I was shocked when they killed Spider-Man. Spoiler alert. I was like, oh my god. Anyway, moving on. Like I said, this is gonna be a long Spider-Man one. This is the earliest Amazing Spider-Man I have, and like I said, I'm a huge Green Goblin fan, so this kind of fits into my whole thing. Amazing Spider-Man number 37, which is the first appearance of Norman Osborn, which is interesting because the Green Goblin came out in Amazing Spider-Man 14, but they never revealed he was Norman Osborn until just now. Amazing Spider-Man number 39, the cover alone is one of the reasons I love it, and I think this is the first Romita senior on here. It's amazing though. I do have to upgrade my copy down the line, but who knows? I mean, I'm happy with what I have. Amazing Spider-Man number 39. That's just an amazing, amazing cover. I actually have the toys of this, which I used to have hanging up, but when I move, hopefully I'll put it up. This is another book I never thought I would own. I mean, it is in kind of rough shape, but again, like I said, I don't care. Just to have it. Amazing Spider-Man number 41, the first Rhino. I mean, these are books, like when I got these, I was so thrilled to have them because, when I was a kid, I was like, there's just no way I'm ever going to get that. Like, even when they were worth, like, let's say $50. Like, even if they were going $50, back in the 90s or the 80s, I didn't have that. I was a kid, trying to get $50 was trying to get $1 million now. And you're like, oh my god, I'll never get that. And plus, like I said, there was no internet back then, so you couldn't just type in, like, oh, there's Amazing Spider-Man 41. Oh, I can get it. I saved my money, I can get it. Back then, you had to go to other comic book stores, and when I lived in New York, there was very rarely ever a Comic-Con. Like, there was just, they didn't, well, not that they didn't exist, but they were just small, really low-key shows that didn't always happen. Like, you had to really, like, look for them, and very rarely did they ever pop up around me. So, it was rough. So, to get that book, it was one of those ones where I'm just like, oh, man. And this is another one. This I love I don't love the character. I think he's really awesome. I don't think he's like the greatest character ever. I just think he's very underrated, and I don't know. It just might sound stupid, but Amazing Spider-Man number 212, the first Hydro Man. Very cool. It's another book I didn't think I'd ever have. I mean, it's really cheap, so you can get it, so it's not like it's unattainable. But it was just one of those ones I'm like, I never thought I'd ever get that. Here's number 217, when Hydro Man and Sandman first fight and they mix into a creature. Just thought it was awesome. Good book, though. Good story. And here's another one of this. Definitely one of my favorites. Definitely falls in there. I am beyond happy to have this. Like I said, it's got a couple little issues with the spine. Well, the staple really. It's like poking out of the spine a little bit. But whatever. Maybe I'll upgrade down the line. Maybe I'll get a CGC version. But this is Amazing Spider-Man number 194, the first Black Cat. Like I said, this is another one I never thought I'd own. But the wife helped me with this one. She's like, alright, if you really want it, I'll give you the money. I'm like, alright, woohoo! This is, well, let's say this is the first book I ever got that was with a real paying job, like an actual paycheck. I don't know if that really makes sense, but it makes sense to me, I guess. I'd gotten this book, I had first gotten a job doing landscaping. This is the first time I've had a job where I actually got a paycheck. All my other jobs, I never got a paycheck. It was always cash or something like that. And with my first paycheck, my first real paycheck, I bought this book, which is the first appearance of Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin, and that's Amazing Spider-Man number 136, which I think it was like, I think I got it like for $5 or something like that. It's really kind of faded, but you know, what the hell? It's another book, like I said, I never thought I'd actually get. And it was in the comic book store. There was a comic book store in the same town that I was working in, and I was like, oh my god, you know. My boss actually told me about it. He's like, oh, you like comics? There's one right up the road. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. We went in there. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. But this is the next best thing. I don't have the original, the real one, which I hope maybe I'll get down the line, but now it's probably so far out of my reach with the price tag because now they've announced he's going to be in a show. But this one's special anyway because the wife got this for me when we first started dating, and she realized I was in the comics, and she saw it, and I don't know. I think she thought it was the real one. I don't know. She didn't know, but she also said this should look cool, and she knows I like Spider-Man, so I think the guy also talked her into it. But this is Amazing Spider-Man. This is the Wizard Ace edition of 129, reprinting the first appearance of the Punisher. Still very cool book. Still very cool story, so that's got to be in there. This is another one I never thought I'd own, ever. It's just one of those ones I'm just like, there's just no way. I'm never going to be able to afford this one. It is in really rough shape. Well, not really rough shape, but it's in rough shape. Actually, it's in rough shape. But this is Amazing Spider-Man number 122, The Death of the Green Goblin. Which, like I've shown, it's got some, what is it, like this thing is actually on the comic. This is not the bag. It's actually ripped across the comic. And the staples are coming out a little bit on the bottom down there. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's got a lot of like dents here. But you know what? For the price I paid, which I really can't remember, I think it was like 10 or 15 bucks, maybe even 20. But just to have that, doesn't matter. There's another one that's awesome. I never thought I'd have it. Amazing Spider-Man number 97. This is one of the drug issues where the comic code did not approve it, but still an awesome issue with the Goblin. So very, very cool. This would be probably close to my number ones as well as favorites because this is very cool. You know, I love this stuff, and it was a birthday gift for my 10th birthday. I'll never, like I said, never forget it when I opened this box. I was just like, oh my god. This was a lot of money back then. Like I said, this was about 30 bucks, and my mom had got it for my birthday because I kept asking, like, I really want to get that book, and she was like, oh, save your money, save your money. And I was never able to save my money. I was always like, it's going to be gone, it's going to be gone. And I remember walking into the comic book store and it was gone, and I'm like, oh my god, no, I really wanted to buy that. And then to realize later on, a couple days later, that my mother had bought it. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 102. This is the second appearance of Morbius, but this is the first time, I think it's the first giant-size issue of Spider-Man, and it's also when Spider-Man loses his 6 arms. But very, very cool. My mom, like I said, 30 bucks back then was really expensive. That was like 300 bucks, you know, equivalent. That's the way I see it. But that's really just a great book, and I was just amazed that I had gotten it. When, like I said, my face lit up when I saw that. This, I love the cover, and the story was actually pretty cool too. Amazing Spider-Man number 92. Spider-Man fights Iceman. Love Iceman. So that was one of those no-brainers. Let's see here. This one, I just love the cover, and then when I found out what it was, I was like, oh yeah, Amazing Spider-Man 290, when Spider-Man proposes to Mary Jane. Very cool. 294. I think this is where Kraven the Hunter kills himself. Just a really cool cover and an awesome storyline. And then we have Amazing Spider-Man. This is another one that's special in a lot of ways. This is number 298. This is the first artwork of Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane. And it's a Venom, I think it's a Venom cameo or mentions, can't remember, I think. Yeah, this is his cameo on the 299. This is technically his first appearance because 300 is his origin, or I don't know how it goes. It gets really, really confusing. But it's special for all those reasons, but also special because, again, this is I think the first time I went to a Comic-Con with the wife, future wife. And I saw this, I was like, that's awesome. I didn't have any money left because I had spent it already, and then I see this. And she's like, oh, you need that? I was like, yeah. I was like, I really need that to complete my 200s and my McFarlane run. And she's like, all right. So she just bought it. So extremely nice of her to do that for me. Moving on. Here's number 299. This is another special thing. Like I said, if this is the first appearance of Venom. But I also have it signed by Todd McFarlane on the top. Very, very cool. Love it. Great issue. Like I said, no real order because you're going to see stuff and just random stuff. But this is another one. You can't have 299 without this one. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 300, but this is the Chrome edition, I believe, from what I hear. And apparently it's very expensive now, which was interesting because when I got it, I didn't think anything of it. But yeah, I believe this is the Chrome edition. That's what I heard. Yeah, collectible classic. I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. But this, like I said, I mentioned in many videos. I'd gotten this. The store I was working at, the comic store, I kept bugging him. I was like, when are you gonna get? Can you ever get Amazing Spider-Man 300? And I really wanted Spider-Man 300. I was like, it's one of my holy grail comics. I don't know. And he got this thing, and he's like, oh, I got Amazing Spider-Man 300. I was like, you did? He's like, yeah, I put it on top of the wall. I was like, you didn't pull it for me? He's like, no, I didn't know if you really wanted it. And I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, that's not 300. He's like, yeah, it is. He's like, it says it. I'm like, that's not the real one. I was like, that's like a reprint, a ripoff. He's like, oh. He's like, well, you don't want it? I'm like, well, how much? He's like, I think he said 20. And I'm like, I'm not paying 20. He's like, all right, how about 10? I'm like, all right, 10. So I bought this for $10 back in the day. So, very cool. But, of course, this is another comic that's special. The original 300. And why is this special? Because this took so many years to buy, and it's the actual newsstand copy, which I know everyone says is rarer, but mine's not in the greatest of shape. It's got a little bit of not a fold, but you can kind of see how it's like like coming off a little bit, like it's overlapping the book, like the cover, like it's gonna fold, but it hasn't yet. I don't know if that makes sense. But what's special about this one is the wife got this one, so she always claims this is her book. So I kind of laugh, and I'm like, all right, well, you can have that, because I'll just keep this one, because this one's worth more money now. But I had told her, like, this was basically the last book I needed to complete the McFarlane run. And she's like, it's expensive. I was like, I know. I was like, but it's worth it. I was like, it's the real one. And she's like, all right. So she bought it as a gift for me, technically, I guess. She always says it's her book. So if it is, it is, but I still have it. This is another one that is special in a way, a lot of ways. This is Amazing Spider-Man 289. This is the Hobgoblin to be revealed as Ned Leeds, and it's also the death of Ned Leeds. And it's the first appearance of Jason Macendale, the second Hobgoblin. But I think the real death was in the Spider-Man vs. Wolverine thing, which I do have, the comic and the book. But I think this is like the aftermath of the comic book version. I don't know how it goes. It gets confusing. But what makes this special as well is my mother had gotten this for me as well. I think it was for Easter. I'm not really sure. I really can't remember. But the comic book store I was constantly going to when I was a kid wanted $10 for this, and again, $10 was a lot of money back then. And I was like, I thought originally it was the first appearance of the Hobgoblin, which I guess it is in a way. Well, not really, but the gist of it. But I was like, oh, that's the death of this one, and I was like, oh, she's like, all right, well, she's like, Easter's coming around. I'm like, no, I can't wait. So I forget it. Something happened. I think I took my grandmother's allowance she gave me, and I was like, I have $5, and she's like, hang on, and we'll get your other books, and she bought this for me. So it was very cool to have this again. It's another old one, and my friends were jealous. I'm like, okay, another old Amazing Spider-Man. For back then, it was old. But here's one This is another one I got from the same comic book store. It was expensive back then. Now it's probably not really worth much of anything, but to me, I saved up for 2 weeks to get this. It's Amazing Spider-Man 284, the Gang War. I just love the cover, and it was an interesting story. And the fact that I had to save up for 2 weeks was really hard for when you're a kid and you're like, oh my god, I could get candy, I could get this, but I got that. This is just love the portrait covers. Amazing Spider-Man 282. This is another one, just a really good story. If you want good story stuff, and it's revealed in this that Spider-Man's webbing is actually organic. But it's Amazing Spider-Man of 256, and it's the first appearance of the Puma. And then there's 257, which I think is when it's revealed that Spider-Man's webbing is organic. But yeah, that was it. Alright. This one I just love for just the story was cool, but just the top left, it just makes the book. Amazing Spider-Man 250. It just says with the Goblin. It's great, steal it. But very cool. And we're winding down on the Amazing Spider-Mans. Yay. Just a few more, well, more than a few more, but hey, like I said. Amazing Spider-Man 266, just a really awesome, stupid story. So very, very cool. This I love. This is Amazing Spider-Man 229. It's when Spider-Man fights the Juggernaut, which I never thought I would ever see or have this book. And here's number 230 when he kicks his ass. Technically. These are some more books I never thought I'd have. This is another one the wife had got me at the Comic-Con. She found it. I didn't even see it. I was going to the Stan Lee panel, and she's like, "Oh, were you looking for Amazing Spider-Man?" I told her, I was like, "McFarlane, I'm looking for McFarlane stuff." And I left her alone to her own devices, and she found this. When I saw this, I was like, "You got that?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Where?" She was like, "I got it for like $2." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" But Amazing Spider-Man 316, very, very cool, very good story. Here's 317, very, very cool again. Love that stuff. This I loved because it was a good story, and I love how McFarlane drew the villains. Amazing Spider-Man 318 with the Scorpion. This is another one, pretty cool story, but I just love the cover, number 313 with the lizard, which I have to upgrade down the line. I mean, it's kind of faded. I really want to get a nice high-grade CGC one. This one's another awesome one when the Hobgoblin fought the Green Goblin, which is another one of those like, oh my god, it's awesome. Number 312. Number 303, just a really cool storyline. Sandman joins the Wolf Pack, I think they're called, or the Wild Pack. I think it was the Wild Pack. But just a really cool story. Sandman's trying to go legit. Number 300, which is a cover swipe of 301, which is a cover swipe of 300. With a good little story. This, I just love the covers, but I also love the story in this. It was really cool. Amazing Spider-Man 374, when Venom meets Spider-Man's parents. Well, his fake parents. But just really cool storyline. It was pretty funny. Number 375, this is when, right before Venom leaves to get his own series. But very cool. Another awesome storyline, 367. This is the whole thing with, they have some like evil versions of the Avengers, and this talks about Spider-Man's parents when they, I think this is before they come back, I'm not really sure. Amazing Spider-Man 361, Carnage. Now everyone's saying this isn't his first appearance. I don't know. I mean, I have them all, so either way I have it. So number 355, I just pulled this one because it was a cool cover, but it's also a really, really good storyline, the Round Robin. This is part 3 of 6. But just a really cool story. If you want a good Spider-Man story, get those. Amazing Spider-Man 346, awesome story, an amazing cover. Eric Larson, I love his Spider-Man and his Venom. They're probably one of my top favorites. I don't even know if that might actually even beat McFarlane's ones. I'm like, it's really really close. There's another one, just favorite cover. Amazing Spider-Man 347. Venom finally thinks he killed Spider-Man. Very great. Very great. Very cool storyline. Very cool. This is another one. Like I said, Eric Larson. Just love his stuff. It's Scorpion 342. Spider-Man doesn't have his powers, and Black Cat has to help him. Really cool storyline. Great cover. 337. Sinister Six. Another awesome cover. Great storyline if you can get those. I think it's the Return of Sinister Six. There we go. Now I have 2 copies of these. Well, actually, no, let me show you the one before it. Amazing Spider-Man 332, another awesome storyline, another awesome cover, which I have to upgrade. This one's starting to fold, but this was my original one. And I have 2 copies of this, which, like I said, another great story. Amazing Spider-Man 333, which was an upgrade version of this one that I have. This one's actually signed, but not by anybody popular. It was like signed by some Spider-Man guy. Not an artist or a writer, but an actual, like, I guess, like somebody who dresses up like Spider-Man. I don't know. That's the thing I'm thinking, because when I bought this, I opened it up. It says bookworms are the greatest Spider-Man, and I'm like, okay, but there you go. This is another awesome storyline. Amazing Spider-Man 328, when he has his cosmic powers, he beats the crap out of the Hulk. Just really cool. And we're winding down. 2 more. Amazing Spider-Man 315. Just another awesome cover. It's another one the wife found. I did have my original one, but I actually sold it because it was my double and it was kind of in rough shape, so I just kept the upgraded one. And last but not least, this is actually one of the comic books that actually got me back into comic books back in the late 90s, and it's Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 1. Very cool. That will do it for my top 50 Spider-Man books, or Amazing Spider, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to do another video, probably right now. I'm going to turn this off and going to show you my top 50 other books, whatever. So like I said, I went a little above and beyond, so thank you, gimpy204, for doing this to me. Yeah. So if you're not really a Spider-Man fan, the next video is going to be more up your alley, I guess. And I'm going to say this in the next video, but anyone out there, I don't know who's been tagged already or who hasn't, or so if you watch this video and you like it, and you watch the other video and you really like it and you didn't get tagged and you want to make this video, consider yourself tagged. Go ahead, go out there and go nuts. I personally like to know when I'm tagged, so I mean, if you make the video and I'm the one who tagged you, I don't know, if you want to tell me about it, go ahead, because I like to watch the videos, so it helps, because sometimes I go through so many videos, I don't know who tagged what, and I'm like, alright, well, you know how it is. But anyway, remember, it's not the size of your cave that matters, it's what you have in it, and come back for the next one, because I have stacks right here that I'm going to show you the rest of my top 50, and they're really cool, so come back for them. Later, everybody.